Welcome in, everyone, to the Football Addicts Anonymous podcast. It's good to have Logan here on a Monday show. Monday show on a Tuesday.
Yep.
United sucks at flights.
Screw United.
But yeah, it's a good weekend. Easter and whatnot. It's a good weekend, opening weekend of the USFL. Like I said, we weren't going to cover it, but I watched all 4 games. I was pretty impressed with the product they put out on the field, so we are going to cover it now.
They won you over.
Yeah, and I picked all 4 games correctly.
That's what it was. Don't lie.
I have my preseason record predictions posted on my personal Twitter, and my preseason champion as well there's a tweet out there on my personal Twitter account. So but NFL news and wrap up with our last team centric mock drafts. Raiders, Dolphins, Rams, going to be pretty boring. Each team has 1 draft pick in the 3rd round each, so a great time. If my computer would like to work. There we go. Okay. So first off here, on Friday, opening night, the hometown Birmingham Stallions, they got the win 28-24 over the New Jersey Generals. Quarterback Jamar Smith led the way, 11-21, 156, touchdown, 3 carries for 13 yards as well. So I picked the Stallions. Like I said, I picked all 4 games correctly. But what impressed me with the Stallions, so Jamar Smith went in because Alex Magoo got hurt. So Jamar Smith came in, was decent. It's not the greatest numbers, but he did enough to get the win. And they actually had to come back because they were down. They were down 24-21 with 1:54 to go, and he drove them down and ran in. Or not. Yeah, ran in. I don't know why I don't have his touchdown. Yeah, I forgot to put his touchdown on there, his rushing touchdown. But, yeah, Jamar Smith had the game-winning rushing touchdown, put him up 28-24. So the fans were excited. That was the only game that had a lot of fans, which is understandable being Easter weekend, Saturday and Monday then, because the last game got rescheduled because of weather. So this one's actually Saturday. I don't know why I said Friday. This one was Saturday. There's 2 games Sunday. It's supposed to be 3. And there was 1 game yesterday, the rescheduled one. But New Jersey ran the ball pretty well. Darius Victor had a nice average. DeAndre Johnson was electric with his running ability. He wasn't that great throwing the ball, but Luis Perez did a fine job, I thought, of that. I have to see. I don't have my paper. Okay. So I have New Jersey finishing second to last, actually, in my preseason prediction. 3-7 is what I have them at. They might be a lot better than that. We'll see. I mean, I only had Birmingham finishing 1 spot ahead of them, 4-6, in 6th place. So maybe it's just these teams are evenly matched at the bottom, or maybe both are better than we thought. We'll see going forward, but CJ Marable, one of my favorite guys, Coastal Carolina boy, he got a touchdown there. And then Randy Satterfield, 100-yard game, I believe the only 100-yard performance in the week 1 slate 5 for 100 and a touchdown on 5 targets for the Generals. Osiris Mitchell led the way for the Stallions, 5 for 96 and a touchdown on 7 targets. Kerry Angeline scored for the Stallions as well. And also Braden Bowman did 2 for the Generals. And then my defensive player of the game is actually going to be on the losing end. Shalom Luani had a fantastic game for New Jersey. 8 tackles, all of them solos. 1 tackle for loss, pick, and 2 pass deflections there.
Nice. Yeah, I'm looking at DeAndre Johnson's stat line there, and his rushing ability is pretty impressive. And that's what you hope to get out of these types of developmental leagues, is just allowing some guys to showcase what they can do to maybe carve out a role on an NFL roster. Like, if a team needs a QB3 that they might like to run some option stuff on the goal line, like, those are the kind of niche things that you can showcase in this kind of setting to kind of boost your stock up a little bit. So
yeah, I'm interested to see as far as the Birmingham quarterback situation, how long Magoo is out, or if he is going to miss any games at all, considering he didn't play any after he got injured. Whether that elevates Jamar Smith to the QB1 spot the rest of the season, and Magoo just rehabs, gets back, and backs him up, or is Magoo out for an extended period of time where they're going to have to bring in a second guy to back up Jamar Smith. One thing that was interesting overall for most of the games, a lot of the teams used both quarterbacks on their roster, which was weird to see. But I don't know if it's just a development thing or if they're trying to figure out really who their guy is going forward, because they only had 2.5 to 3 weeks of training camp to get prepared for this season. So. And one thing I don't like about the league is it's tough to get stats quickly because you have to go to the Fox Sports app. ESPN app doesn't have their stats yet. And I know why now that ESPN doesn't have their stuff on there, because I read an article today about the upcoming war between the XFL and the USFL next year, when they're going to be competing against each other. One note from that is that USFL has in these guys' contracts, they hold the rights for 2 years. So the XFL won't be able to sign any of these guys from the USFL until 2024 at the very earliest. But that's why, because Fox Sports and NBC are covering the USFL, ESPN and ABC are going to have the XFL. So a little bit of broadcast war as well. Crazy. The Generals had 408 total yards in this game, 277 only for the Stallions. 3 for 4 in terms of touchdowns in the red zone for Jersey, 2 for 2. Birmingham. And Jersey ran the ball very well, 222 rushing yards, most of that by DeAndre Johnson. 5 yards per carry, too, which was pretty crazy. Turnovers were even at 1 apiece. But the Stallions covered -3.5. Nice 4-point win there. And over 42.5 hit, the only over of the weekend. It was funny because I actually got in my parlay, since I was in Pennsylvania, I could use DraftKings and FanDuel, and I had a couple bucks left on each site. So in my parlay on FanDuel, it was weird. I guess I got it in a glitch on there, because when I did my parlay for the USFL, I actually got the Stallions at +3.5 when they were still the favorite money line wise. So I don't know. I got the glitch, but obviously it
You
didn't
want
matter. They covered anyways.
Yep. You won on the technicality.
All right, Sunday's games. The Houston Gamblers getting the win over the Michigan Panthers 17-12. Yeah, none of the quarterback play was very good. Houston only played one quarterback the entire game, Clayton Thorson. And Shea Patterson, despite his 192 yards and a touchdown, that was mostly in the second half. He and Paxton Lynch were absolutely atrocious in the first three quarters, really. Michigan was 17-0. And then finally they got on the board with a touchdown, Shea Patterson to Lance Lenore. And they got another, that one came with 9:42 to go in the third quarter. And then their second touchdown, Stevie Scott, with 10:20 to go in the fourth. And then they had a chance, I believe this was the one that they had a chance. They threw the Hail Mary at the end. Maybe it was the other game. But anyways, yeah. Clayton Thorson did enough. Mark Thompson, I was impressed by him, former Florida Gator there for the Gamblers. He was very good for them. Lenore, 6 for 71 and touchdown on 9 targets, led the game in receiving. Stevie Scott for Michigan, 18 carries, 72 yards, touchdown, as well as a catch for 5. JoJo Ward, leading receiver for the Gamblers, 7 for 48 on 9 targets as well. Isaiah Zuber scored. But the Houston defense was outstanding. Reggie Northrup is my defensive player of the game. 11 tackles, 5 solos, a forced fumble recovery, and he took that fumble recovery 87 yards to the house, which was the first score of the game. Donald Payne, too, I mean, 19 tackles and 13 of them solos and chipped in a pass deflection as well. But 19 tackles was crazy for the former Jaguar linebacker.
Yeah, it just still blows my mind that Paxton Lynch was a first-round pick. Just you can't get your head around it, really. Also, in my opinion, my humble opinion, Gamblers got the best unis. They got the best drip out of any of these teams, and the
I don't know if that's my internet or yours, Logan. You were frozen there.
clocked out a little.
Yeah. I didn't hear anything you said.
I was talking about Paxton Lynch, can't believe he's a first round pick. And I said, I think the Gamblers got the best unis in the league.
Yeah. Shea Patterson actually started, got benched for Paxton Lynch, and then Paxton Lynch got benched and Shea Patterson had to go back in. I think if they would have had a third quarterback, I mean, they would have put someone else out there. But all teams only have 2. So, but yeah, the Gambler is the only underdog to win this weekend. They cover +2.5, under 42.5. 3 out of 4 games, it was 42.5 was the line. The other one was only just 41.5. All right. Second game on Sunday here, the New Orleans Breakers beating the Philadelphia Stars 23-17. I like the New Orleans Breakers name the best and colors. I like the blue. Brian Scott, he is your leading passer in the XFL right now, 202 passing yards. But he did turn it over twice, which led to a touchdown, which we'll get to. I really like Kyle Sloter. Preseason phenom with the Vikings a couple of years back. Had two stints with the Vikings, actually, 17 to 18. And then also, I think in 2020, he was with them as well in the preseason and the practice squad, but has been around a little bit. And yeah, I actually have Philadelphia be as the worst team in the league. I just didn't think they have their quarterbacks are Brian Scott, who went to Occidental Division III, I believe that is, and then Case Cookus, Northern Arizona D2 guy,
Another Vikings legend.
So, yeah, I just didn't believe in their quarterbacks and overall roster, even though they are my Philly boys. But New Orleans, I have them as the second. I have them finishing second and making the playoffs because it's the top two in each division make the playoffs, and New Orleans in the South. I have the Tampa Bay Bandits as the number one team in the league, but I have them tied at 8-2 each. So I just didn't want to pick a team to go 9-1. It was kind of hard not to. Tampa's really good, has a nice roster. Philly, I actually have 1-9. So it might be a long season for Bart Andrus is their head coach, who I had never heard of. So that was another reason. Coaching kind of played into it a little bit too. But yeah, Jordan Ellis, I had not ever heard of him before, but he had a great game, 18 carries, 89 yards, and a touchdown. TJ Logan, former Cardinal, 15 for 56 and a score. Chipped in 4 for 38, as we know him to be a good pass catcher out of the backfield there. Chris Rowland, leading receiver in the game for Philly, 7 for 74 on 9 targets. And then Bug Howard, from a UNC star, caught a touchdown for the Stars. And Chad Williams, another former Cardinal that is on the Breakers, only had a catch and 5 yards on offense on 4 targets, but he had a blocked punt that led to a safety. It wasn't even close, dude. I mean, he probably could have just swiped it off the punter's leg and, recovered it for a touchdown because he came in scot-free off the edge, and there was no chance for the punter. And then a lot of defensive stats. This was a pretty good defensive game here. Another high tackle number, Josh Banderas for the Stars, 17 tackles, 10 of them solos. But Vontae Diggs for the Breakers, 10 tackles, 7 solos, 2 tackles for loss, a pick, a pass deflection, and he had a 37-yard pick six off of Brian Scott. My Georgia boy, Davin Bellamy, also had a fantastic game. He's the leading sacker in the USFL right now. 6 tackles, 4 solos, 3 sacks, and 3 tackles for loss as well.
The Reggie White of the USFL, many are saying.
And veteran corner there, Channing Stribling, also nice game for him for Philly. 2 tackles, solo, a pick, and 3 pass deflections there. The Breakers covered -2.5, under 42.5. A little close there. Got to 40. And then the rescheduled game from Sunday night to yesterday because of weather in Birmingham and Alabama in general. I did get back in time to watch this game, luckily. And it was kind of a snoozer, especially in the second half. But the Tampa Bay Bandits, like I said, my number one team. That's who I have winning it all in the inaugural season here. 17-3 over the Pittsburgh Maulers. And I think Jordan Ta'amu is going to be your league MVP. He only had 185 yards and did throw 2 interceptions. They only scored 17 points. But I think he had fantastic leadership. And yeah, I don't know. It just seems like that Todd Haley offense that they're running for Tampa is going to be a problem, especially if they can figure out how to get the passing attack. That's what I initially thought of when I looked at the roster that they have. They have a great receiving core, led by Jordan Lasley there, as you can see, 3 for 21. I mean, Cheyenne O'Grady was the main target, 8 for 86, and 11 targets for the big man. But yeah, I just think Ta'amu was pretty good. Kind of had a lull there in the middle, but had some really great throws. And I believe in him. And I think if they can get the passing game going with these receivers, they're going to be unstoppable, I think, maybe. The only reason they didn't score a lot of points, the Pittsburgh's defense played a very good game. And both defenses did, really. Especially, like I said, in the second half, it was just like nothing. There was no offense that he had in the second half. There was the Maulers, their 3 points. That was the only points of quarters 3 and 4. Just shows how good the Pittsburgh defense was in the second half, getting a shutout there. But it was also a weird offensive strategy by Pittsburgh. Kirby Wilson's their head coach. I had never really heard of him either. But they wanted to pound the ball, and it wasn't working for the majority of the game. In the fourth quarter, it finally was a little bit. These guys, like I said, only had like 3 weeks, so the conditioning is not probably where you want it to be at right now. So it got into the fourth quarter, and then they started hitting some. But then they would get, penalties. They would get personal fouls, stupid penalties. But yeah, Wisconsin legend Garrett Groshek was the leading rusher in the game, 16 for 55, 3.4 average. The Tampa defense was just blitzing the hell out of the offensive line for Pittsburgh, and that's how they were stopping all the runs. Josh Love was the starting quarterback for Pittsburgh. Not terrible. Didn't turn the ball over, which was good for him. Now, Kyle Lauletta was terrible. 2 for 10 and 8 yards in his passing. But that's the thing. They started the game off with like 6 straight runs or something like that. And then they finally threw the ball. What are you doing? But yeah, let's see. Lasley caught a touchdown there, 3 for 21 on 5 targets. Like I said, a lot of defense here. My defensive player of the game is probably the top guy there, Kiava Tizino for the Maulers. 12 tackles, 9 solos, 2 tackles lost, a pick, 2 pass selections, and a forced fumble. Have some other names there, former NFL guys. Quentin Meeks had a nice game. Travis Feeney as well for the Bandits. Reggie Howard for them. And then had to include the punter for Tampa because he had a whale of a game punting the ball. Brandon Wright, 5 punts, 54.6 average. 4 of the 5 inside the 20. That's 80%. And then a 76-yard bomb that he hit and went by the returner and bounced a little bit. But yeah, Tampa, I think, they're going to ride their defense early in the season, and then until their offense catches up, and then when their offense does, I don't think there's going to be many people that can stop them.
Yeah, all I have to say is just respect Garrett Groshek. Just watch out for him, man. That's why you wanted to know why they were grounding and pounding. Wisconsin boy, right there.
Yeah, it was funny though, because it was Kurt Menefee and I think Brock Heward was the other broadcaster yesterday, and Kurt asked him, he's like, "Well, when your offensive philosophy is ground and pound and it's not working, what do you go to?" And Brock's like, "You can't. There's nothing. There's nothing to go to. You don't have a passing game. They drafted to their players to be this type of offense."
Yeah. I mean, what you just described is what the Wisconsin Badgers have run since like the early 90s is just ground and pound, and that's it. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work.
I had something in my head. Oh yeah, Tampa also. I should have put them on here. It would have been made the text a lot smaller though. Tampa also has a legacy at wide receiver. He caught 3 balls for 23 yards on 3 targets. Name is Vinny Papali.
Let's go.
Son of Eagles legend Vince Papali. So I was very excited to watch Vinny play and catch a couple balls out there. But yeah, like I said, they're receiving core: Jordan Lasley, Vinny Papali, Rashard Davis, Derek Willies. Yeah, these are all names. Derek Dillon, John Franklin. Yeah. The Bandits covered -4.5, biggest line of the weekend, and under 41.5. Easy money in that one. So we'll be back on Friday previewing the games for week 2 of USFL. It's rivalry week, they're calling it, because you got the Michigan Panthers versus the New Jersey Generals. I don't know how that's a rivalry, but go ahead. Then you got Pittsburgh. You got Pittsburgh against Philly, Birmingham against Houston, and then New Orleans against Tampa. Okay, NFL news. No college news today, but NFL news. The Match 2022 edition is going to feature Tom Brady and Aaron Rodgers against Josh Allen and Patrick Mahomes. The established GOATs versus the up-and-coming GOATs. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is a GOAT, but that's just me.
That's your NFC AFC championship game preview right there.
Possibly. That's going to be June 1st at 6:30 Eastern. I'm happy that I'm going to be able to watch it because it's on a Wednesday. I was like, dang, bro, it's going to be on a Saturday. I'm going to be at a tournament. I'm not going to be able to watch it. Yeah, it's on a Wednesday, a Wednesday evening. I don't know. I didn't look to see where they're playing. Because that's what I thought. They usually had it on a Saturday, and because it would be daytime. So I don't know if they're going to play and then like not have it live or what. Because 6:30 Eastern, there's no way they can start at 6:30.
Right.
I mean, even if they're playing on the West Coast and it's 3:30, that's still decently late to play a whole 18 with all the broadcast stuff. I just don't know what they're playing. So but yeah, Tom's pretty good. Aaron's decent, I think, too. I have never heard anything about Josh Allen playing golf. So I think that might be kind of fun. I think Mahomes plays though. So yeah, I think Allen's gonna be the worst out of the four.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I haven't heard about any of that either, him playing golf.
All right. The 2022 NFL draft player attendance list was released this past week. And if I can find it here, there are, you remember the number? Was it 20, 21?
I think 21, yeah.
Yeah, 21 players attending. So the guys that'll be in Vegas are Sauce Gardner, Aiden Hutchinson, Charles Cross, Chris Olave, Devin Lloyd, Devontae Wyatt, Evan Neal, Garrett Wilson, George Karlaftis, Ika Mekwanu, Jermaine Johnson, Jordan Davis, Kayvon Thibodeau, Kyle Hamilton, Malik Willis, Kyler Gordon, N'Kobe Dean, Zion Johnson, Jameson Williams, Drake London, and Matt Corral. So most going in the first round. I think guys like Devin Lloyd, Devontae Wyatt, Kyler Gordon, N'Kobe Dean, Zion Johnson. Zion's probably going to go in the first. And Matt Corral, I think those are the guys that might probably won't go. Others might not. The linebackers, I've been hearing that like they're just gonna slip. So
yeah. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised necessarily because, and I think I've talked about this on a couple of our other episodes, is that it's a pretty good linebacker class in the mid rounds, second and third rounds. So it's like, would you rather spend a premium first round pick on a guy like Devin Lloyd, N'Kobe Dean, or would you rather wait till second or third round, draft a guy like Chad Muma, Channing Kindall, one of those guys? So wouldn't be surprised if some of those guys fall out of the first round. I like it when they announce who's attending because some of it you can kind of gain a little bit maybe of a picture of how the league views those guys.
mm-hmm.
So I thought it was, a lot of these guys are projected to go round one. I thought it was really interesting though to see Kyler Gordon on that list, and it might give maybe a little bit of an indication to how the league feels about him.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. He was another one that's like that back end area that you could see going night one. Matt Corral's an interesting one. He probably is going to be the last one drafted off the list. Unless someone gets him, the only way I could see is if Malik Willis and Kenny Pickett are gone and the Steelers either stay at 20 and draft Corral or Ritter, and then the Lions are like, crap, what are we doing at 32? We need a quarterback. Yeah. And then they could go get Corral, or if the Steelers trade back and possibly get Ritter or Corral there as well. Otherwise, I don't think there's any way that he goes night one.
I think that you could see a situation where Detroit takes him at 32 to get that young guy on the rookie contract, or somebody trades up into the back end of round one, maybe if they like his upside and they really want that 5-5-year option.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it's not the QB class to like want to have to do that. Trading up for one of these guys is, it's always a risk. but it's like a major risk with these guys because this class just isn't as good as we've seen in previous years at the quarterback position. So
I forget who that one guy was a couple years ago when they started inviting guys that weren't surefire first rounders. They invited some guys that they knew were going to go on day 2. There was a quarterback though just a couple years ago that I can't remember who it was. He was waiting. Oh, it was I know who it was. It was freaking wasn't it? Or no, never mind. Jake Fromm was drafted in the COVID draft year. But no, I don't remember who it was. There was someone though that was like waiting, and then they eventually just left because they didn't get drafted. But yeah, I don't know. I will say, Roger Goodell, wear as much protective gear you can when Jordan Davis is drafted.
yeah,
Because I feel bad for you, sir, to have to hug that guy.
yeah. He better pray that Jordan Davis doesn't want to pull a Christian who's Watkins, right, from Miami when he got drafted. He did like the jump. Yeah, because if that's happened, he's going to be going to the ER.
Yeah, Tack McKinley gave Roger a pretty good ride too when he got drafted.
Yeah.
All right. Next thing on the docket here, young former second round pick wide receiver is not attending voluntary workouts here. 49ers, Deebo Samuel, Titans, AJ Brown, Commanders, Terry McLaurin, all not going to be at offseason workouts here before the draft. All 3 want new contracts and all 3 deserving of them. But are the teams willing to pay what the receiver market is right now? That's the question.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you see AJ Brown's Twitter activity yesterday?
No.
See, I'm not one to buy into a lot of things. Everyone does the whole, he removes this many pictures on his Insta, this many, he takes Tennessee out of his bio or whatever. But when a guy comes out and starts tweeting his stuff and leaves them up, that's when you start. So he tweeted a few things. He tweeted, and these are all still up. He tweeted, "I'm a diva and a bad teammate all of a sudden. LOL, okay. Do what you have to do then, and so will I." Okay, it's still on the Twitterverse books. They switch up real quick. And there's another one. I can't find it. But doesn't sound like a man who's anywhere close to near the contract talk where he wants to be. So interesting saga.
Yeah, and out of the 3, he was one that I remember. I don't remember Deebo too much when he came out. I remember Terry McLaurin when he came out, 3rd round. Or was he a 2nd round? I always thought McLaurin was a 3rd round.
No, he is. Yep. And the only reason I know that is because he was taken right after we took Jay Sternberger, 75th overall.
Okay. Yeah. The tweet that had all these 3, I think it was Rap Sheet again. It said, I swear it said 2nd rounder, 2nd round wide receivers, getting mad. But anyway, yeah, AJ Brown, though, I do remember when he came out, there were some red flags in terms of character. Him and DK, both the Ole Miss receivers. There were some things out there on them that maybe made both of them fall to the 2nd round. But yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be interesting. Of the 3 there, I think actually one of the guys that I think will be dealt is Terry McLaurin. Because Washington's in a position to where they could draft the wide receiver 1, whoever's at the top of their board at 11. I mean, I think there's a good chance the Jets take a wide receiver at 10, but maybe they don't. Good chance maybe the Falcons do, but maybe they don't. Either way, at 11, they have a chance to get a really good wide receiver there if they want to. And they could probably flip McLaurin for some trade capital from one of these wide receiver needy teams and get back some of that capital they lost in the Carson Wentz trade. So I could definitely see that happening. And now with the AJ Brown drama, it seems like that could be, something that happens as well. So it's going to be interesting. I don't see Debo because he's just so important to that offense, and you need him to help develop Trey Lance. And I don't see DK Metcalf because, I mean, he's still super young, and he's still going to be in his prime whenever Seattle's back to competing again. So the only situations I see are as if contract talks break down, which they seem to be doing for AJ Brown, or if a team's in a position to get, a cheaper and still good option like Washington is. So that's why I think McLaurin and Brown are likely to be on the move, but I don't see Debo and DK.
Yeah. I mean, the Titans they don't have a second round pick because of the stupid Julio trade last year.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, they probably get more than just a second round pick for AJ Brown at this point. But I thought of an interesting trade in my head just now when we were talking. I included DK in the conversation. Just why not trade Ole Miss receiver for Ole Miss receiver? AJ Brown for DK straight up.
That would be interesting right there. I mean, they are very similar.
DK is a hell of a lot faster.
Well, right, yeah. But I think if you want to, power rank wide receivers, I feel like they're pretty close to each other on those rankings.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
All right, some transactions here. The Ravens, they waived former, what was he? A 6? I don't remember his draft position, but former draft pick, wide receiver Miles Boykin. Interesting, the Steelers today claimed him off waivers. So he is now a Pittsburgh Steeler going in division off waivers. Physical, he's got height, weight, speed traits, but never really materialized anything coming out of Notre Dame with Baltimore. So the Browns, this was probably the biggest news of the weekend. They signed corner Denzel Ward to a 5-year, $100.5 million extension, $71.25 million guaranteed, highest paid corner in NFL history. He's also, I thought this was crazy, under contract through 2027 now, under contract for the next 6 seasons. I was kind of surprised. I don't really hold Denzel Ward as the top corner in the league. So the fact that he's getting paid like it seems like the Browns are turning back into the Browns.
Yeah, I mean, well, they are selling out. I mean, this is it, man. And to be honest, I mean, they kind of have to, right? Like, the only way you can justify making the move for Deshaun Watson is if you win at least one Super Bowl. That's it. If you brought in that guy with that baggage and you strike out, I mean, you're gonna have to blow up the whole team again, and then they will be the Browns again.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, positives are and again, I agree with you that he's not the top cornerback in the league, probably shouldn't be making that money. you do, if you are the Browns, you want to be the first to do this. Like you always want to be the first team to get out on this contract because the numbers just always just keep going up. Same with quarterbacks, same with every other position, which is why when I saw this deal, I was a little pissed because we're still waiting on a Jair Alexander contract. And if Denzel Ward is making this amount of money, you know, you just, that it keeps going up. So, but yeah, I don't know. It's, the Browns are in a spot here where it is the window is, it's here. You know, it's no longer about potential. They got to make this pay off. And if it doesn't,
I know one thing. They better get some receivers. They better re-sign Jarvis Landry.
yep. Yeah. I mean, they have pick, what is it, like 44, 43? They could maybe take a guy there, but yeah. Will Fuller is still on the market. Sean Watson's old buddy. But yeah, you're right. I mean, the room is still, it's Amari Cooper and then a bunch of guys with like upside who haven't really materialized yet. So
Donovan Peoples-Jones.
Yep. Anthony Schwartz. Yep. Yeah. Yep.
The Bears, they signed Jags tight end James O'Shaughnessy to a 1-year deal. Good backup tight end to go Cole Kmet. Just a low-level signing there. The Seahawks, we said about last show they re-signed quarterback Geno Smith. Schefter came out and said it's a 1-year, $3.5 million deal, $500,000 guaranteed, another $3.5 million in incentives. But Rappaport just tweeted out his contract was disapproved per the NFL's transaction wire, so they're gonna fix it, and the contract is gonna go through eventually. It's just, I don't know why it got disapproved, but
they were worried that the Seahawks were going to be too overpowered with Geno Smith at the helm. They had to get the commissioner involved.
All right, and then some visits. The Jets, they hosted 49ers linebacker Quan Alexander for a visit. Obviously, Robert Saleh knows Quan from his time in San Francisco. And then the Panthers, they tried out free agent wide receiver Ryan Switzer today. Okay, let's get into our mock draft here. Again, the most boring mock draft we have of the mock draft series. But the Raiders have their 3rd round pick at number 86. First rounder went to, why am I blanking on all these trades right
now? Green Bay, 22.
Yes. Yep. For the Devontae Adams trade, 1 and 2. The Dolphins, their first rounder was for Tyreek Hill. Well, that was their second first rounder.
Right.
Their original first rounder is with the Eagles in part of the Dolphins trade up last year. And then their second round pick, was that also in the Tyreek trade?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. And that was their pick, I believe. Yeah.
Yes. And they got this 3rd round pick from the Niners when the Niners traded up for Trey Lance last year.
Mm-hmm.
The Rams, this is a compensatory selection they got for the Lions hiring GM Brad Holmes. This is their second pick from that transaction. Otherwise, their first rounder in the Stafford trade, their second rounder in the Von Miller trade, and their original third rounder also in the Von Miller trade.
Yep. That's what they do, man. They trade their premium picks for proven players, and then they load up on comp picks.
It's annoying. Okay, here's me speaking for like 5-10 minutes. Aiden Hutchinson 1, Malik Willis to the Lions, Evan Neal for the Texans, Trayvon Walker to the Jets, Ike McWander to the Giants, Charles Cross to the Panthers, Kayvon Thibodeau to the Giants, Garrett Wilson to the Seahawks or the Falcons. Why? Kenny Pickett to the Seahawks at 9. That screws everything up now. Ahmad Gardner to the Jets at 10, Derek Stingley to the Commanders, Jordan Davis to the Vikings, Kyle Hamilton to the Texans, Jermaine Johnson to the Ravens, Drake London to the Eagles. I'll take that. Jameson Williams to the Saints, Trevor Penning to the Chargers, Zion Johnson for the Eagles, Desmond Ridder. Saints get their quarterback. So, okay, Malik Willis went too. I forgot. I was like, no Malik Willis before Desmond Ridder. Tyler Linderbaum to the Steelers. Love that. Chris Olave to the Patriots, Devontae Wyatt for the Packers, Andrew Booth for the Cards, George Karlaftis to the Cowboys, Jahan Dotson to the Bills, Devin Lloyd to the Titans. I've heard of this Daxton Hill first round hype recently. He's going to the Bucks here. Bernard Raymond to the Packers. So your Packers get Wyatt and Raymond in the first round.
Wouldn't shock me.
Traylon Burks and Trent McDuffie to the Chiefs, Kenyon Green to the Bengals, Lewis Seen. So 3 safeties going in the first round to the Lions. Perry and Winfrey to the Jags, Boye Mafe to the Lions, Jaquan Brisker to the Jets, Jalen Petrie to the Giants, Kyer Elam, Texans, Nakobe Dean to the Jets. That's a home run right there. God. Sky Moore for the Bears, David Ojabo and Kyler Gordon to the Seahawks, Christian Watson to the Colts, Arnold Ebiketie to the Falcons, DeMarvin Leal for the Browns, Kenneth Walker, the Ravens, Tariq Woolen, the Vikings, George Pickens to the Commanders, Tyler Smith for the Bears, Daniel Fa'alele to the Saints, Christian Harris to the Chiefs, Quay Walker, the Eagles, Kirby Joseph for the Steelers, Cameron Thomas to the Packers. So no receivers in the first 3 picks. Travis Jones to the Patriots, Logan Hall for the Cards, Sean Ryan to the Cowboys, Bills take Isaiah Spiller, Chad Muma for the Falcons. There's a receiver. Doesn't have to go that far either. David Bell, Purdue to Green Bay. Jamari Salyer for the Bucks, Roger McCreary for the Niners, Nick Cross for the Chiefs, Cam Taylor-Britt, Bengals, Leo Chenal, the Broncos, Nicholas Petit-Frere, the Jags, Breece Hall to the Lions, Matt Corral, there he goes, quarterbacks back-to-back for the Giants and the Texans, Carson Strong to Houston, Zachary Carter for the Jets, Alontae Taylor for the Jags, Isaiah Likely to the Bears, Calvin Austin for the Seahawks. That's like Percy Harvin 2.0 question mark. Except not in the first round. Josh Pascal to the Colts, Dylan Parham for the Falcons, Kingsley Enagbare to the Broncos, Darian Kennard for the Ravens, Brian Cook for the Vikings, John Mechie for the Browns, Brian Asamoah the Chargers, Drake Jackson to the Texans, Trey McBride for the Giants. That fills the Evan Ingram spot. Sam Howell, Falcons get a quarterback. Marcus Jones, love it, to the Eagles. Fidarian Mathis to the Steelers. Darian Beavers to the Patriots. And we're finally, we are up for the Las Vegas Raiders and their first and only pick in the first 2 days of the draft. So what in the world do the Raiders need? Interior defensive line? I think not. What is wrong with their interior D line? Jonathan Hankins, Bilal Nichols, Vernon Butler, Kyle Pecco, and Andrew Billings. They also have Kendall Vickers in there too.
Mhm.
I see nothing wrong with that.
Right. Well, I mean, plus when you have that edge duo, I mean, you don't need to blow away like anybody with your IDL.
Yeah. Next one they have is interior O line. That could be, but again, I don't think it's that big of an issue. John Simpson, who they just drafted last year, Andre James, who they love, Denzel Good is the right guard. They also have former first round pick Alex Leatherwood as a backup on the depth chart right now. Ronis Grasu is the backup center. Maybe they need another guard, but there's none here anyways. There is one, Ed Ingram and Cole Strange. Cole Strange would be a great pick, but I think he's going to play center, probably. Corner.
I mean, they just traded for Rocky Sin, right? So, I mean, they could still use more corners, but
He's the starter with Trayvon Mullen. They have Anthony Averett, Nate Hobbs, who they like in their
right.
nickel package. Amik Robertson, Darius Phillips, Cravon LeBlanc. Tackle. We don't have any tackles here anyways. We do. Abraham Lucas. So that could be a spot. Obviously they love Colton Miller. Brandon Parker is the right tackle. They definitely need a backup. Jackson Barton is listed as the backup right now. They also have Jermaine Illuminor, which I'm not sure he's not the backup. They have Alex Leatherwood listed as the fourth string right tackle right now. So tackle, I think, could be an option if they wanted to try to upgrade Brandon Parker, who they just drafted like 3 years ago under different management. But that's the thing. Like, it's tough when we have a new GM. We don't know any of his trends and what he likes.
Yep.
What Josh McDaniels likes.
Right. You know, I think the way the board is right now, I think I'd like going O-line here, especially if you're looking to maximize the Derek Carr, Devontae Adams connection. So, I mean, I like Lucas there. I like Cole Strange and Ed Ingram. You know, I think obviously the hope for them is that eventually Alex Leatherwood is the right tackle of the future because he was the LT at Bama. I don't know if they'll ever develop into that guy. So Abraham Lucas, I think could be, I mean, I feel like he's a plug and play RT. But I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to Cole Strange or Ed Ingram either.
What about linebacker? Their starters are Denzel Perriman, Jayon Brown, Kyler Fackrell. So they're decent. They're decent. But I believe Perriman and Jayon Brown are both on 1-year deals. I would have to think Fackrell is too, probably. Behind them is former draft pick Divine Diablo and Micah Kaiser, who they signed from the Rams. And then the only other linebacker listed is Justin March Lillard.
Yeah. That could be another one too. I know they've tried to address that in the past through free agency with
Corey Littleton. And you're frozen once again. But Corey Littleton, is that who you're looking for?
Sorry. Audio went out for a sec there.
Yeah, you were frozen on my end. But yeah, anyway, I love both these guys. I've been a Troy Anderson fan. So I think linebacker is that's where I see their weakest area is on the entire roster.
Mm. And this would be right around the range where I would take a guy like Troy Anderson or Channing Tindall.
So now do I go a Georgia boy or do I go my
Your draft
phenom?
pick.
The Raiders run a 4-3, so that's good. Weak side. That's what I do see with Anderson, though. I think he's going to be a special teams ace early on because he's that small school guy. And I think they're going to want to keep their guys that they signed right now in the starting spots. So I'm going to go Troy Anderson. My boy out of Montana State. Going to Las Vegas. The Cardinals go Cole Strange. That's a great pick by the Cardinals. Khalil Shakir for the Cowboys. Josh Williams to the Bills. Cade Otton to the Titans. Jalen Tolbert for the Bucks. Packers get Channing Tindall. Ed Ingram for the Niners. Nick Bonito for the Chiefs. Damari Mathis to the Bengals. Martin Emerson for the Broncos. Kyle Phillips to the Lions. Sam Williams to the Saints. Greg Dulcich for the Browns. Mario Goodrich for the Ravens. Tyreek Smith for the Eagles. All right. The Dolphins. Again, we have a new head coach here. Linebacker. Again, why do they need linebackers? For depth, I guess. Obviously, they run a 3-4. So inside linebackers are Elandon Roberts, Jerome Baker, Brennan Scarlett, Sam Iguavin, who they love, had some great games last year. If anything, they need outside linebackers. They literally have 0. They have Darius Hodge listed outside behind Andrew Van Ginkel. And then they have Jalen Phillips. But other than that, there's no outside linebackers. But aren't Brennan Scarlett and Sam Iguavin both outside linebackers?
I have no clue what either of those men are. So
Do we even have any linebacker? We do. JoJo Doman. We have 1. What other needs do we have here? Interior line isn't terrible. Running back. Why is running back a need? They run 4 deep. Chase Edmonds, Raheem Mostert, Myles Gaskin, and Salvin Ahmed. They don't need a running back. Edge rush, though, I could see, but again, we don't have any edge. Myjai Sanders. Tackle, again, they signed Teron Armstead. They drafted Austin Jackson and Liam Eichenberg within the last 2 drafts, so I don't like that. Wide receiver, I see no issues there. Yeah, I think it's got to go. Actually, why do they? Okay, see, that's an issue I have with this depth chart right now. They have Emmanuel Ogba listed as a defensive end. That's not his position. Not in a 3-4. He's going to be outside rushing opposite of Jalen Phillips.
Mm-hmm.
And Adam Butler would be your defensive end there.
Right.
So I actually look at corner. Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, and Nick Needham are your top 3. But behind that is not much. Trill Williams, Keon Crossan, D'Angelo Ross. Good Lord. Noah Igbenogany is listed as 4th. on the depth chart. And then Elijah Campbell as well. We don't have any corners anyways, so that's out. I don't think they would do this with their first pick of the draft. But there is a guy sitting here that my mouse is on right now. They signed Thomas Morstead out of retirement. So he is their punter right now. I am just saying that Matt Ariza is the best punter to come out in quite a while. I'm going to pull a Ray Guy in the third round. But anyways, yeah, I don't know. I mean, the Dolphins have done a nice job. And I think maybe if we're going to have to go somewhere, it's going to be linebacker with JoJo Doman or Jesse Lucchetta.
I mean, who's their center right now?
Michael Dieter.
Wisconsin boy. So I can't put him out of a job and draft Cam Jurgens, the Nebraska guy. So
yeah, because even the other two interior linemen are fine. Connor Williams and Robert Hunt are their guards. So yeah, I think it's got to be one of the two linebackers, and I'm leaning toward Doman. Love my boy Lucchetta. I just don't think he is very good in pass coverage. Yeah. Blitzing linebacker. Doman, what do they have on him? Coverage. So yeah, kind of exact opposites of each other are Doman and Lucchetta here. So yeah, I think I'm gonna go JoJo Doman for Miami. Chiefs go Jeremy Ruckert. You get Travis Kelce back up there, which is also a weird selection considering I know they like Noah Gray. So, all right, Rams. The Rams need a lot of stuff. And they don't have that many picks to do it.
they have linebacker listed twice as needs.
I mean, it is. Actually, no, it's not. Why? Why is it? I mean, I guess they need some depth. What do the Rams have? What position are the Rams deep at all? Because obviously they signed Bobby Wagner. They have Ernest Jones, who was
that's right,
a solid draft pick in the third round last year, I believe. I believe he was a rookie this past season out of South Carolina. And I don't know why I'm by less need. Edge rush, Leonard Floyd, and yeah, they could use some edge. Leonard Floyd is there, but they have Justin Hollins, Terrell Lewis, Chris Garrett, and Anthony Hines as the outside linebackers. It's weird that Vaughn hasn't signed anywhere yet. I know he did.
Yeah, he signed with the Bills. Yeah,
That's right. I forgot. But yeah, do we even have? Again, it's Myjai Sanders. They definitely don't need a running back. I'm surprised tackle isn't higher.
mm-hmm.
They like Joe Noteboom and I guess they like Rob Havenstein as well. They don't have much behind those two.
Mm-hmm. And I mean, I do like the O-line board in general here with Cam Jurgens and Abraham Lucas. And I mean, when your team is fairly good and you're and Gadecki, I like Luke Gadecki out of Central Michigan. So, I mean, when you're a pretty good team and you're kind of maybe at a loss for what you want to draft, I mean, you're always going to need O linemen, and every draft, every team should be drafting at least one or two guys. So it definitely wouldn't be the worst pick here.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on the O line. They don't have depth really anywhere except receiver, I guess. And I think I'm gonna lean toward Lucas because it's obviously just a more important position at tackle than it is
Right.
interior. Too bad Cole Strange isn't still on the board. I would go him in a heartbeat because I think Cole Strange could beat out Brian Allen possibly at center. But yeah, the only other spot I would say, and the thing is the board's not working with what they need unless you go Lucetta. That'd be the only thing is if you could go Lucetta to get some linebacker depth behind Jones and Wagner. But yeah, I'm gonna go Lucas. And the Niners, what did they go? James Cook. So our 3 picks, the Raiders at 86, Troy Anderson, linebacker out of Montana State. Dang, dude, we should have just drafted Lucetta. We could have gone all linebackers. 102, the Dolphins go JoJo Doman, linebacker out of Nebraska. And 104, the Rams go Abraham Lucas, offensive tackle out of Washington State. It's hard to say which one won. I think it's the Raiders, but
yeah, I mean, just because I mean, Troy Anderson is the best, I think, prospect out of these 3 guys.
So yeah, those are our picks for those 3 teams. Chris has got to get on posting the rest of the mocks. But yeah, we will be back. Next Monday is Draft Monday. It's crazy. It's here. It's coming up. We will be recapping USFL Week 2. And looking at any NFL news, there might be a bunch at that point with draft rumors swirling. And then we'll just take a peek at the draft. What we think some storylines might be. We're gonna have burning draft questions on Friday, so we'll try to answer those as much as we can, and then we'll just take another peek. Maybe I was thinking, Logan, if I didn't know if you were gonna be on Wednesday night for our mock draft, our first round mock. If you're not going to be on, you could give out your first round mock.
I should be on for Wednesday, but I am certainly not opposed to crafting my own little mock beforehand. So I could definitely produce one of those bad boys.
All right. Sounds good. That was the show for today. Nice hour and 15 minutes here. Don't forget to follow us on all our social media at FAA Podcast on Instagram and Twitter. FAApodcast.com is our website. You can check us out here on YouTube, Facebook, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and iHeartRadio.